This is Eitan Weinstein.
And I'm Naor Menninger, and you're listening to Two Nice Jewish Boys.
This podcast is sponsored by The Forward. Stay up to date with unlimited access to news, culture, and opinion all through a Jewish lens. And for our listeners, for 2NJB listeners, get 6 months of The Forward for only $10. That's 67% off. An exclusive subscription offer for our listeners, forward.com/2NJB, and get 6 months for $10. Also in collaboration with Arutz Sheva, IsraelNationalNews.com. And last but not least, in collaboration with Australian Jewish News, check them out at ajn.timesofisrael.com. In 2019, Israel spent about $20 billion on defense. That's around 11% of its annual budget, and it puts Israel among some of the highest spenders on defense. All in all, makes sense. What doesn't make sense is that starting in the early 2000s, Israel was seeing a barrage of constant rocket fire from Gaza, injuring hundreds, killing dozens, and terrorizing entire communities. Sometimes all the money in the world won't solve a problem. For that, you need bright minds, all set to a singular goal. And of course, someone to manage them. Chanoch Levin was that man. Chanoch was the project manager for Iron Dome, the anti-missile defense system developed by Israel and the United States to counter the constant rocket fire from the Gaza Strip. Against all odds, Chanoch and his team at Raphael were able to achieve the unimaginable. The story of Iron Dome is being told through a new documentary series featuring Chanoch Levin and other top Israeli brass responsible for making this miraculous missile defense system come to life. The new 3-part documentary series is now available to stream worldwide outside of Israel exclusively on Izzy. Visit helloisrael.tv to learn more. Today, we're extremely honored to be joined by Chanoch Levin to talk about the Iron Dome defense system. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So before we jump in, I just want to tell everybody a bit about Izzy. Izzy is, guys, a great platform for Israeli content, Israeli entertainment. You can watch it abroad. A lot
like
of it
Netflix
for Israel.
For
a lot of it is in English. The stuff that's in Hebrew is subtitled.
Yeah,
so
fiction,
it's a really great
documentary.
place. Yeah, so you could see the documentary series with Chanoch Levin and about Iron Dome on there, and you can see other great content. And you can visit helloisrael.tv/2NJB to get a special offer and a discount, so go check it out. Thank you so much again for joining us.
Coming all the way from the Jezreel Valley.
Jezreel.
Israel Valley.
Yeah.
It's in the north of Israel, yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's quite a
But
drive.
the Americans, they call it Jezreel. They always screw up the names.
It's not far away from the Armageddon, it's
Yeah.
in the beginning of the valley.
That right there, it's gonna start.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I bet you didn't feel that way when you were near the Gaza Strip. You felt like it was starting down there.
I feel the same thing in the north, in 2006.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was the first time when you thought about the concept of intercepting rockets from Gaza?
So I would like to start in 2004. I was in the United States with defense delegation for 2 years, up to 2006. 2006, I came back to Israel. The first moment when I just entered to my house in the north, 3 rockets hits my street.
Wow.
And it wasn't so pleasure. I have a lot of experience. I was in the Special Forces in Israel. I was Lieutenant Colonel.
You fought wars?
The what?
You fought in wars?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which ones?
I was Lieutenant Colonel in the army, but it was before many years.
Okay.
And I took part in Yom Kippur, in Litani operation, and the last one was 1882 in Lebanon.
1982, yeah.
Yes. And I just landed from the sea with small forces, and we just entered to Beirut, before our troops came after us.
Not wearing dresses, though.
No.
Okay, that's someone else.
No.
Okay.
It was very nice, I spent a few months later on in Beirut.
Uh-huh.
It was so nice. I cannot understand that, but they destroy every part of Beirut. So it's not like I was.
So you've been in situations like in combat situations,
Exactly.
but this was different.
Totally different. Because when you are with the forces, you can you know that this is the risk that you have to take. I was with my family. I was with my wife, with my daughter, and 3 rockets hit the street. We try to find any place to any shelter in our house. We don't have any shelter in our house, so it for me it was a little bit funny, but
I'm sure that's not how they felt.
yes, but it was only because my daughter she didn't like the situation. So a day after, I came to Raphael. Raphael is my company in the north of Israel. I went to the president of Raphael, Didi Yari, and I told him, I would like to do something with a rocket or missiles against those rockets. I think I have any solution. He said, okay, he knew me because I developed 8 projects before this moment. And he said, okay, go ahead. And
But we already had the arrow. The arrow
Yes.
existed for at least a decade before that scenario took
Yeah.
place.
Mhm.
So what's the problem? You take the arrow, maybe you make it a bit smaller. There you go, problem solved.
Big difference. Don't forget the Hero. First of all, it's not my company. It's the IAI, the Israeli
Aerospace
Aerospace.
industry,
Yes.
your rivals.
Yeah, it's not a rival. With the
Competition.
It's a small competition.
Enemy.
No, enemy. Okay, go ahead. It's we can say, but in Israel, the companies, they divided, the systems.
Mhm.
They do
They do the radar.
the radar,
Uh-huh.
and we are doing the missiles. So
You're not really even competing in the same
no, not in
spheres?
missiles. Only
Ah.
Raphael do the missiles. That's why I developed a few missiles before the Iron Dome.
I see.
But the biggest difference that you ask about the arrow fly about 6 minutes. 6 minutes. It's
It's a lifetime.
It's exactly. It's a lifetime. We have to destroy. We have to intercept a rocket in 15 seconds. Don't forget 50 seconds. Try now to take 50 seconds. You see that almost nothing.
15 or
15,
50?
15 seconds.
Wow.
And this
That's
is
crazy.
exactly what's happened in Sderot. In Sderot,
And 15 seconds passed.
yeah. In 15 seconds, you have to find a shelter. And the IDF, they publish a map how long you can go to a shelter. And we have a lot, and in Sderot, they have a lot of shelters, Any places, it can be a big pipe that they put in the sides. I call it, it's 50 seconds to survival in Sderot, in Norton to find shelters. So, in order to do a missile that in 50 seconds, we have to, first of all, to detect the target, which comes from Gaza. The second one, you have to understand if it's a rocket or something else. It can be, in any minute, we have a lot of drones above Gaza. So
And now we have balloons too.
they have balloon. No,
Yeah.
we have
We need- yeah.
a huge balloon, but they have balloons in order to make fire and everything.
So what's the problem with shooting down a drone?
To shoot in with the drone or what?
No, I'm saying, what's the problem if you misdetect and you detect a drone? So you shot down a drone.
Because it's our drone.
No, it's our drone.
Okay.
It's our drone, yes. It's, it's a huge drone. It's not a simple one. It's a lot of money. And every one of them has a special mission above Gaza Strip.
But did you get inspiration from the arrow, or is it completely unrelated?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. I don't know exactly how it's built, the arrow. I don't know nothing about it because there's different companies, they keep the whole secret.
Okay.
But when you have to do a missile, we have to, run after the rocket. And it's not, the arrow, first of all, the target for the arrow, it's very simple target. First of all, it's very huge, and it's going direct, like this one. In our system, the Kassam, it's going like this.
Yeah, like a fly.
Yes, exactly, because...
Meaning the ballistics, because our listeners didn't see your hand. So the ballistics of the missile that the arrow is trying to intercept he was doing with his hand, very direct path.
Predictable.
Predictable, but the Kassam, the Katyusha.
Irregular.
Katyusha?
Irregular.
Is Katyusha
Katyusha and Kassam. No, Kassam is the first one. The Kassam, the size of the Kassam, I look on this bottle. It's
Beer
like
bottle.
just a water bottle. It's like a Coca-Cola bottle, a small one. It was the first one. It's very small, and it's going like this one because
zigzagging.
Yes, because it's a simple and not. It's not a rocket. It's a rocket which the
most stupid rocket.
Exactly.
I mean, the Nazis in the year 40 were more sophisticated than Gaza in 2000.
No doubt about it. Yes.
So okay, so you're trying to intercept this rocket. First you have to detect it, then you have to get it. Is there any other challenges?
It's much more in between. When you intercept it, when you detect the rocket, first of all you have to make any calculation where is the trajectory and where the rocket is going to hit the ground.
You need to strategize the route.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And
why do you need to know where it's going to hit if you're trying to intercept
because if it's going to an open field, I don't have to waste missiles again, this one.
Which costs?
So-and-so.
I think $50,000 we were seeing in this series. Just to compare, which I think is one of the most fascinating things, and we'll talk about this, to the arrow, which they said costs $1 million a rocket.
That's what they say?
In the movie. In the movie. It changed, yeah, more. Well, yeah.
Even more. Okay.
Also, the arrow changed throughout the years. There are several kinds of arrow missiles now.
But 50,000, I mean, that's crazy. That's
yes.
That's what, like,
that's
like 5%. 5%.
Yes, and the last rocket that we, in Raphael, developed, a nice rocket. It's almost like the Iron Dome. It's about $500.
Wow.
Yeah, the last one. I mean, we complete the mission about few months before I started to work on the Iron Dome.
But so you go to your boss, and in general, you get like people have confidence in you and the idea, or people are skeptic.
No, first of all, they knew me. They knew my project.
They knew you're crazy.
Yes, exactly, exactly. I developed a few systems. Not only missiles. I deal in the earlier.
What's the craziest thing you developed that we can talk about before the Iran?
It's the first Intifada in Israel. Ehud Barak was he was a general in the army, and he said, "What can we do in order to use an helicopter and to put everything, from the helicopter on the people, which they a lot of riot in the West Bank, a few thousand of Palestinians. So
to break the riot.
Yes.
Okay.
So I developed something which is the first time that we developed something which you can use the helicopter, the small helicopter, the Bell, that just released a lot of things from.
Was it cow shit from the kibbutz?
Let me tell you something. No, it was, it was based on tear gas.
Okay.
But Ehud Barak has, okay, that's all. I come from a kibbutz. We have a lot of orange, which we have to put them, and through them.
Yeah, let's use that.
So we use even oranges. And
really?
Yes, really. And we just, release them above the Palestinians. And it was very nice because it didn't.
It's not dangerous.
Yeah.
It's not dangerous.
There are
yes.
the people who hate when you open a clementine, right, in the bus, right, and they despise you for that. So that's the worst thing you can do.
Wait, but it's actually effective in dispersing. What, just because it's annoying to be hit by an orange, or because of the citric acid, or what?
No, the orange was Ehud Barak idea.
Just for the fun of it.
Yes, exactly. But it's not so fun if you get an orange in your head, from about 100 meters. So it's
you gotta work with what you have. You have oranges, you throw the oranges.
Yes, but it wasn't a good system, because I use only tear gas, but a tear gas which, you can disperse a few miles of gas, and the first time the pilot, he didn't understand, how much he should release, and it was awful because 500 Palestinians went to hospitals.
Oh no!
So since then we wrote exactly. It was I developed it in 10 days, so it's almost nothing.
Okay, so you get a green light. So you're crazy.
For this crazy project, you get a green light immediately?
Actually, in the MOD, the Minister of Defense, the Israeli Minister of Defense, they started to speak about any system. And they
were desperate.
Yes, exactly, because they try to find in United States any system, and they didn't have.
We were also traumatized, it's worth mentioning, from the Iraq war, 92, 91, when we used Patriot missiles to counterattack, and they landed on our cities. So that's always a scar.
So the efficiency of the Patriot was something like this.
Zero.
And it was nothing. And it was good. The Patriot, it's only anti-planes. Not anti-missiles. So it was awful. But, I told you, the Patriot, they have a long range, a lot of time in order to intercept the rocket.
Right.
When we have only 15 seconds, you have to understand that the missile should do something like this, very stupid. Many times we thought that we missed, and then we saw the missile come again and hit the target. And I can say that in the beginning, me and my staff, we have a small staff, 5, 6 engineers. Everyone with a lot of experience. We didn't believe that we can do it. When I said, we thought that we can intercept 10%, 50%. That's all. But the IDF, they request for 80%. We didn't saw any system in the world that can intercept more than 60, 70%. We didn't see. Even the Patriot, the same.
So you kind of shot yourself in the foot because you didn't know what you were asking for.
Yeah.
You said, please give me this project. And they're like, okay.
They got too excited.
80%.
Yeah.
No, it's with the guys from Mafat, from the army, I have a lot of dispute, about why did you say 80%? Let's start with 50. 50 probably I can succeed. But with
80,
it's almost impossible.
Okay.
Yes.
So how do you approach such a challenge?
So, we started to develop a missile. We started, to to see what will be the size of the missile. Many people thought that the missile will be almost 3 feet. That's all. And 3 feet you cannot intercept in the high, you don't have a range, whatever. So I said, and I told to my team, you can do it, in any size. It can be 5 meters, 6 meters, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We have to do something that can run after the target, and it will do it. Today, the missile, it's about less than 3 meters. So it's okay. It's not too much.
Mm-hmm.
But when we started, it was around the clock. I sit with 2 of my colleagues. One is Amnon and one is David. They are the best engineers that I ever worked with them in Raphael. And every night about 11, 12 o'clock, they come to my room, we drink coffee, and then it was a free speak. And
Just
Think
a
tank.
conversation.
yes, just, what we think about our future, It's not so simple. So nobody in this stuff, with this stuff, believe that we can do this job. We didn't believe it.
You all thought it's impossible.
It was impossible in the beginning, yes. It was a mission impossible, yes, in the beginning.
But how do you continue working on a project which you decide is impossible in the first place? It's
I have a lot of project in Raphael that in the beginning it was mission impossible. And we solved the problem. So,
what does impossible even mean?
It was impossible in the beginning, but I can tell you, in Raphael we have a few thousand engineers. And Raphael choose them, the best engineers from the Technion, from the university, from any place. So first of all, it's the best engineer. And when I speak with them, they understood exactly about what I speak now, what I need, whatever. But the beginning was, because the Minister of Defense, Amir Peretz, he said, you have to do it in 3 years. 3 years, that's all. The last project we did in 15 years. It's almost the same rocket and the same missile. So to do it in 3 years, it's impossible. And do it in, you say...
80%.
No, we didn't think about the percent,
Okay.
In doing it in $50,000, which is impossible, Only the material cost $100 or $200,000. So you cannot do it, But I said, let's do something which is different. A different project that we did before.
I'm before we move on, I'm thinking about what's the lesson here. What's the moral of the story that anyone can relate to? And I feel it's like the important thing is the mission. The mission and the challenge. To think about the challenge is more important than to come up with the solution. Because once you have a very good challenge like Amir Peretz gave you, then you have a better chance of coming with a solution.
The biggest challenge wasn't Amir Peretz. He was great. I am a good friend with Amir Peretz today,
No, but the challenge of creating a rocket.
Yes, that's exactly. The challenge was the people in Sderot. We went many times to Sderot, and we feel exactly when they got the Tseva Adom, the red color.
Mm-hmm. The alarm system.
It's like a siren. It's like a siren and we saw the children in Sderot. They're running, to the shelters.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw something which, I remember it up to date. I wrote a book. This one on this story, I wrote 2 chapters. We came to the school of Sderot in Shar HaNegev, it's called, the gate of the desert of the Negev. And the principal took me to show me everyone, and I saw a group of children, 16, 17 years old, they play soccer. And then the principal asked me, let's go to the building. And since, we just started to go to the building, we heard the siren, the red color. And I was afraid about those guys who play football. The principal asked me to run to the building. We ran to the building, and then I didn't look the children, and then the rocket hit near the the soccer game.
It landed.
It's landed and it was explode. We ran outside because we thought that we have wounded or dead or whatever. So I saw fire around the field, and then I saw the children. They got out from the shelters, about 20 children, and they started to play soccer with the ball near the fire like nothing happened a minute before. And then I told the story to my people in Raphael, and I told it again and again. And I said, we will do the missile, only for those people. That's all. And that's the story. If you say, what is the challenge? Those children.
That's the purpose.
Yeah.
So, can you talk a bit about how it works? I mean, how secretive is that?
Actually, I think...
I think if you tell us any of the actual secrets, we probably won't understand them anyway.
Actually...
But the Iranians are listening.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not so sure that it's so secret like it was in the beginning. In the beginning, nobody in Raphael knew that we started to do this project. It was secret that Raphael is trying to develop a system like this one. And it's good for me that it's secret, because we could fail. So if it's failed, nobody knows that we did it. So it's good for us. So today, I can't tell you exactly how it's worked.
Yeah.
I gave a few presentation in United States, in the Congress, in the Senate, and in very other places in the United States. Actually, I forgot to say that I was 6 years after I complete the mission, and I told to my president, the Raphael president, that I'm going now to sit on the beach in Tel Aviv. I complete everything. I don't want to work. He said, no way. And then he sent me 6 years in Washington, D.C. I was in Raphael office in Washington, D.C. And I tried to sell a few systems, including the Iron Dome. The Iron Dome we have succeeded, and a few years ago, the United States ordered 2 batteries of Iron Dome in order to send it to Iraq and to Afghanistan. That's
And are there other countries that have this? We can talk about it's secret.
You can ask me about other countries.
Okay.
You can't answer.
Okay. And so back to Eitan's question. Maybe I'll rephrase. What was, if you can describe the breakthrough point during the development, the eureka moment, and what was the discovery that changed the trajectory of the project?
So let me tell you, the first test that we did, it was around 2008. It was the first test that we wanted not to intercept the target or the rocket. We want to see what will be the distance between both objects in the air. I mean the distance between the missile, Raphael missile or Iron Dome missile, and the rocket. So we did everything in order to build it, the test, and to go to the desert. It's in Mitzpe Ramon, not far away. We have a spatial area. and we go to this area. But before we went to the desert, I asked the engineers, we had about 300 engineers in this stage, and asked them, what is your prediction? What will be the distance? So the first group said about 1 kilometers. 1 kilometers, it's totally destroy, in 1 kilometer we can go home. So that was this group, we call them, the anti-Semitics. The second group said, it will be 100 meters. So, 100 meters, it's the BDS. And the people who said less than 10 meters is, of course, the Zionists. They are the best guy, and it will be okay.
And that was you also?
I thought that it will be around 5 meters.
Okay.
It was, I did every night, I sit with a few of my colleagues, we try to do simulation, and it's looked like it can be okay.
But what's the difference here? So you're shooting a fake Kassam rocket, and then you're shooting what? An already made Iron Dome rocket? Prototype, but it doesn't. But you're not controlling it, or what's the difference? No,
we control everything. You need a control, test. But it wasn't with an explosive or warhead or something like this. It was only to see what will be the gauge.
But it was the first test you had ever.
It was the first step, the first test that we had.
So they didn't dream to expect it to actually
to
work.
No,
of course. Let's be realistic.
So that's why we didn't put any explosive, not in the target, not in the Iron Dome. So you have to see now the picture. We see it. It's like like at NASA, lots of computers in a bunker in the desert, and one guy, he's the head of this test. He starts to count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push the button. Nothing happened. No missile, nothing at all.
Oh no.
So we push again. Nothing happened, I was almost with an heart attack. Not only me, I saw my guys, We understood that that probably we failed. So we have another missiles. We decided in 2 hours that let's try the second missile. We put it on the launcher. 3, 2, 1. Nothing happened.
This is the fake Kassam.
It's not a fake. It's a Kassam.
The Kassam rocket, whatever.
Yes, of course.
And the intercept.
Yeah, but when you press the button, it sets the rocket off.
It's only launch our missile. First of all, you have to launch the Kassam or the Katyusha, and then when the radar detect the system, of course, you have to launch now the missile. And
but it doesn't automatically launch. You have to press the button.
In this test, it was...
Okay, you press the button.
No, actually, when you press, it's not for launch the rockets. It's give the computer, the permission to launch the rocket exactly on the second, that you need.
I see.
Okay. So then what happens?
So you pressed in the second one, nothing happens.
Nothing. So, I told myself that if I was a Japanese, I could take, sword like a harakiri. So we decided to go back home. And I told one of my friends, you have to drive. I'm not so sure that I qualified now to drive back. After 2 weeks, I thought that it's going to be now between 6 months up to 12 months to find the problem. So 2 weeks later, one of my colleagues, Raphael, is the engineer, electronic engineer. He came to my office 9 o'clock in the evening. That was the hours that we work, And he said, I think I found the problem. So what's the problem? He said on the launcher, in order for safety, you have to connect a cable before the launch. So that was it. But he said they connect the plus to minus and the minus plus, and of course it cannot work.
We have a joke in Israel: the redhead, the gingerhead with the keys, he's the responsible.
Exactly. Yes. So
So it was that simple.
and it's happened twice, not only one. In 2 tests, they connect the same connection.
Wow.
So
Tell me that guy was fired.
no, it can be.
He was
because
put on the next rocket.
It was, we feel that we weren't so good in this one. If you develop something that you can mistake, of course, it's the problem of us and not of the guy.
Okay, so then what happened?
Yes. And then I said, okay, let's do a test. On Friday, a little bit evening, nobody was in the area. We went to the launcher, me and 5 of my engineer, and we said, let's now connect it, okay. Don't forget, we have a live missile inside, so we can, if we have any mistake, we can launch in the middle of a lot of cities the missile. But we wanted to see if it's okay. If we connect plus minus like this one, if we can get a fail, and if we connect the other one, we can get that it's okay. And we found that the systems had the problem. So on Sunday, I went to the president of Raphael. I said, we solved the problem. He said, no way, we have to establish about 15 committees, that's it can take about a few years, I said, he said, are you sure? I said, yes. Sure, yes. And then I saw that he didn't believe me. I said, okay. Now I write my resignation on a paper. If it will not be this problem, you can throw me away from Raphael if you want.
Wow.
That's what I said.
Okay.
And they said, okay, go ahead. 2 weeks later, we come to the desert. First of all, we launched the target. It was a Katyusha. And then we have to see what's happened when you push the button. So another problem was that when the computer called the times, it was 5, 3, 1, 0. I don't know what's happened inside. And then we saw on the screen, we saw a lot of fire, and we saw that the missile jumped to the air.
And your heart at this point?
No, don't forget that the test come to test what is the mission was, what is the gap between the rocket. But of course, I said 50%, which I promised to my president. Yeah, actually, you can see in the picture, every time he sit near me, he said, okay, what should we have now a few seconds. He said, what should I have to do with your paper just to write it, your resignation? I said, yes. And then, now we have a few seconds that it's come like this one. And one more story before I start.
One more cliffhanger,
Yes,
okay.
Yes. A night before we went to the desert, come to my office a guy. His name is Sergey. Sergey just, we send him to finish his PhD in Berkeley. And I met him when I was in the United States in Berkeley. He came and said, let's do something on the computer. It will take 2 hours. It was 11 o'clock, up to 1 o'clock, it's not a problem. In the midnight, no, not in the moon. So he showed me everything and he said, the range, the gap will be 20 centimeters, less than 1 feet. And when I saw the whole calculation, I said, it makes sense. But I told Sergey, don't speak with anyone Don't give them any idea that it's going to be okay. I don't know. And keep it in secret. And then I'm going back now to the door, both object in the air, and in 1 second you saw they just scratch each other. It was almost, we call it iron in iron.
Yeah.
So it was so good. And I was, I sit like this, they took pictures and they took film and video, and you can see me like this. I don't know what to do. And then my president sit near me, and he, okay, what's happened? So he gave me, a knock with his feet in my hand, in my foot, like this. And what happened? I said, we succeed, and we have a project. That's the first time that I knew that we have a good project. That's all.
Amazing.
And
That's a moment of a lifetime.
yeah, of
Of
course.
history.
Of course, history, whatever. And since then, we conduct a few dozens of tests in the desert, and we got a lot of interception. And we fail sometimes.
Want some water?
Yes, please.
But you can continue.
Okay. So we have sometimes fail, but it was okay. We got a lot of interception, and we did the maximum that we can do, that it will be a little bit more. We got in the test about 85%. It's much more than anyone in Israel or in the world got. Thank you. Got, and much more than anyone in the world got.
85%.
85% in those tests.
Today it's even more, presumably.
No, today it's more than, it's close to 94% today.
In reality, not in the test.
In reality, yes.
That's
of course.
incredible.
So since then, we continue with the test. And something else, we had about 22 groups in the project. When I say groups, I mean that one group is mechanical, electronical, computers, production, and something like this, and navigation.
Mm-hmm.
So, 1 minute.
Yeah, sure. Wow.
That's incredible, really.
So the head of each of the groups, when they come to my office to show me what they did, they should start with how much this part is going to cost. That's all. When somebody, some group came to my office and they say it will cost so and so, about double, then I said that it should be cost, and I said, we will not conduct this meeting, go back. You have 3 weeks in order to do it in the same price that I gave you to do. I mean, if I want to do it, for example, in $50,000, so I can say that the rocket motor will cost $5,000 more. It's impossible. The last one we did in $50,000, but it should be. And then they come to my office, the guys of the motor, and they said, we cannot do it. I said, why? They said that our rocket in Raphael is smokeless, without any smoke. Why? Because if you do some anti-tank missiles, you don't want to expose the people who launch the missile. So when you develop a rocket motor with smokeless, it's cost a lot of money. And then I wrote them a letter like this one. Don't forget that everyone in Israel they will see the rocket. And it should be a lot of smoke because I want that everyone in Israel will see the rocket, the missile, and see a lot of smoke. They don't
The
understand.
show.
It will
You wanted the show.
Exactly, that's what I wanted. So that's why you can see today, when you see the missile, the Iron Dome missile, you can see a lot of smoke.
Can you tell the story about how you came up with more efficient parts for the...
For example, when I mean efficient, not efficient, I mean
I refer to the
cheap.
story you tell.
Yes, of course. So one Saturday I was at my home. Actually, we work 6 days. 6 days, it was between 15 hours up to 24 hours a day. That's all. Many times when I went to the lab, you could see the technician and the engineers, they are sleeping near the on the floor. And they are waiting for a test, which will be in 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in morning, whatever. So they stay. Some others are working. So Saturday I said, we have a day off, not because I'm religious, I'm not religious, but it was good for them to be with the family. The family didn't see them, all the days, all the week. So I went to the storage and I found a small car, a small remote control car, which belonged to my son. And it was interesting because it was a little bit open and I saw a few parts inside, which I know that we have in the missile a few parts like this one. Electronic, connectors, whatever. And I cut them. I took them to Raphael, to the lab, and they test them. I mean test in high temperature, low temperature, in vibration, whatever, everything that we do to the part of missile. And it was excellent. So, for example, in the missile, I have a few parts, or let's say one part, which we have about 62 parts like this one. And every one costs about $50, $60, which not a lot, but when you have 64, it's a lot of money. And in the car, I found the part which cost only 80 cents. So we sent a few people to a country that they have those systems. And they bought it. Of course, they didn't come like an Israeli, they come like other one, but it doesn't matter, the systems that they are working.
But they bought only the parts, or they actually bought cars?
No, only the parts.
Okay.
Only the parts.
It didn't come with a...
No, of course not.
with loads of cars.
Because the car costs a lot of money,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this one is 80 cents,
Wow.
one part. So I found two and a half parts in the car, and we put it in the missile. So I'm proud that this is the first missile in the world that use Toys R Us part.
It's just amazing.
They don't sell the missile in Toys R Us, though.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So we're running out of time, but maybe a bit about what you're up to today, these days. The rest of the story of Iron Dome, guys, you can see on the documentary.
Yes.
Yeah.
But,
So first of all, in 2012, I got the Israeli Defense Award from the president of Israel, from Shimon Peres, from Ben Gantz. He was the chief of staff, and Ehud Barak, it was the Minister of Defense. And they called me from United States. I was in United States. I come with my wife. We got the prize, and then I said, I don't have anything to do right now. I can't understand if I can something better than this one. And then I decided when I come from United States, I'm going to retire from Raphael. Of course, the president asked me to stay. They have a lot of other projects. I said it was enough for me, and I would like to go. So in United States, I started a project, a startup. It's a medical device which it's used by people, they got heart attack or everything that you have in the heart, any problem that cause you to fall to the ground, collapse, and not to breathe. So this is a system that you just put it on the body.
You wear it.
You don't have to wear it. You can take something like this and you put it like this one.
Mm-hmm.
So it started to work exactly like in a room in the hospital when they got any people like this one, and it do everything that you got in the hospital, like compression to the heart, like electrical shock, like giving oxygen, and everything, some other thing else, and it's do exactly like the doctor will do. So we are working now
So I didn't understand. The device is for like you can breathe through it. It does. It's like a defibrillator. Like what exactly does it do?
everything inside defibrillator.
One
It's
solution.
One device
one
that does all of
device,
it.
everything you have it. Everything you have inside. And I know I went to an hospital with a few of my friends in United States, and we saw how they working, and exactly everything that they do in hospital, my system will do even better, because it's doing the maximum and the optimization thing, like how many when you try to get the compression, how many time you have to do it, even the defibrillator and even the everything actually. And it's going to be a very nice and a very good system.
What's the name of the?
It's a CPR device right now, but we
Okay.
have another name like T Mashuk. The name of the company is T Cardio, and it's going to be the best system. And let's say that in 2 months from now, the first prototype will be prepared, and we did it because we need now somebody that can invest money or put the money in this system, and
So you're looking for investors.
exactly.
Okay. So do you have a website?
No, we don't have now,
Okay.
but they can find our names.
D Cardio?
T
Cardio?
Yes, T,
Okay.
Cardio.
like my daughter name. She's Tamar. So
Okay. T Cardio.
T Cardio.
T Cardio, yes. And
Cool.
we have a few professors now. Let's say the one who work with us. It's a Professor Yosefi. He's from Barzilai Hospital. He's the head of this department in over there. And when we show him the system the first time, he was like this one. So I don't know what you are doing, but I'm going to work with you.
Nice.
So that's when I got the telephone today. It was,
Okay. It was from...
yeah,
Amazing.
Chanoch, you're a very inspiring guy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming all the way from the north. We really appreciate it.
Really.
Thank you
And
very
thank you
much.
for all the things you
You've
did.
done, yeah, for Israel.
Yeah, thank you.
Before we go, we are sponsored by The Forward.
Yes, you can check them out at forward.com and go to forward.com/2njb for a special offer. Get 67% off, 6 months for $10. So again, forward.com/2njb to get all of your news, your opinion through a Jewish lens.
Also, Arutz Sheva, IsraelNationalNews.com. They also help us out and distribute this show. So go and check them out. Highly recommended content.
IsraelNationalNews.com.
And also Australian Jewish News.
yes.
AJN. AJN.timesofisrael.com.
Yes.
Check them also out because they give so much cool content about the Australia Jewish community. And
Yes.
yeah.
And finally, guys, we do this on our free time. So if you want to help us out, 2njb.com/donate.
That is it. Thank you.
Thank you.
luck.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Bye, guys.
Bye.